92 notes, multiplying monomials, okay, or polynomials, sorry. Multiplying polynomials, I'm going to show you three things. Multiplying a monomial times a polynomial, a binomial times a binomial, and then a trinomial times a binomial. So these three different parts I'm going to teach in separate, at separate times. I'm going to show you two different ways to multiply a binomial times a binomial, and one way to teach this, and one way to teach a binomial times a trinomial. So first of all, we're going to show you how to multiply a monomial times a polynomial. This polynomial can be any number of terms. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be. There's one way that we want to teach you this way, and that is to use the distributive property. Okay, you guys already know how to use the distributive property. Okay, and remember, use the arrows. When you multiply, you're adding the exponents, so that's a big thing to remember. So if I give you an example, okay, and I have one here. Example, we're going to multiply the monomial times the polynomial that's inside the parentheses. Example 1. Remember, use the distributive property. All right, so I have 3x squared, this is your monomial, times, in parentheses, your polynomial, 2x cubed minus x squared plus 4x minus 3. So this is, in this case, is a 4-term polynomial. You're going to multiply this monomial times this polynomial using the distributive property. So we're going to use our arrows to distribute. We're going to multiply this times this. We multiply the coefficients, but we add the exponents. That's a really important part. Multiply the coefficients, add the exponents. So 3 times 2 is 6. X to the 2 plus 3 is 5. So that's your first term of your answer. Okay? Then we're going to multiply this times this term. 3x squared times a negative x squared. A positive times a negative is a negative. Negative 3. And then we're going to add the exponents. X to the 4th. Then we're going to multiply the next term by 3x squared. 3x squared times 4x, we're going to multiply the 3 times the 4 and get 12, positive 12. And x to the second times x, which is really x to the first. So we're going to add 2 plus 1, which is x to the third. Okay, then we're going to multiply the last one. Okay, use your arrows to represent, make sure you multiply this by every term inside the polynomial, or part of the polynomial. 3x squared times a negative 3 is negative 9x squared. Okay, notice that our answer is in descending order. Highest degree monomial to lowest degree. Degree of 5, degree of 4, degree of 3, degree of 2. So that is in descending order and is written correctly. You cannot simplify this any further because none of these are like terms. They do not have the same exponents. So therefore, this is the answer to our multiplying these two polynomials. Let's do one more of these, and then move on to multiplying binomials. Okay? The next one I have here is 2x cubed times x to the third, x cubed, plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. Again, we're going to go a little bit quicker this time. 2x cubed times x cubed. 2 times really a 1 in front of this is 2. X to the 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 2x cubed times 3x squared. 2 times 3 is 6. X to the third times x squared. You add the exponents. X to the fifth. Then multiply 2x cubed by negative 2x. 2x cubed times a negative 2x is negative. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. X cubed times x. Add the exponents. X to the fourth. Multiply this times this. 2x cubed times 5 is 10x cubed. And you have your answer in descending order. 6, degree of 6, 5, 4, and 3. Okay, so that's how to multiply a monomial times a polynomial. Use the distributive property. All right, we're going to move over here, and we're going to multiply now a binomial times a binomial. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you two different ways, and you're going to have a choice on which way you want to do it. Okay, so now we're going to multiply a binomial times a binomial. A two-term polynomial multiplied by a two-term polynomial. Now, you have your choice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two choices. I'm going to do one FOIL over here. The same one I'm going to do using the table method over here. Okay, so the one method over here is to use FOIL. Now this is a 4-letter mnemonic to remind you of the 4 steps of FOIL. FOIL can only be used using a binomial times a binomial. FOIL is only used when you multiply a binomial times a binomial, no other time. Okay? The F stands for you're multiplying the first 2 terms of the 2 binomials. That's what the F stands for first terms. First, the O stands for outside terms. The I stands for the inside terms. And the L stands for the last 2 terms. What I'm going to do too is I'm going to actually box in the O and the I of FOIL, because those 2 terms will always be the 2 terms you can add when you simplify will be your 2 like terms. Okay, and I'll show you how to do this here in a second. So let's try this. First, outside, inside, last. So I'm going to do it with this 2 binomials. I'm going to multiply, this is our example, A plus 3, that's one binomial, times another binomial, 2A plus 1. So because I'm multiplying 2 binomials, I can use FOIL. No other time can I use FOIL unless I'm multiplying a binomial times a binomial. Here's how I do it. I use arrows. First 2 terms. This is the first term of this binomial. This is the first term of this one. So I'm going to multiply those 2. I'm going to put a little F above it to remember myself that means stands for first terms. A times 2A is 2A squared. Plus. Now I do the outside terms, which means this is the outside, this is the outside. You'll see a big smiley face. And that stands for the O of outside, or FOIL. A times 1 is 1A, or just A. Plus. Now I do the inside terms, which is a little smiley face. So stay below, make a little smiley face, and that stands for the I. So you're multiplying 3 times 2A, which is 6A. Plus, and now you do the last 2 terms, which is back up at the top. Looks like 2 eyebrows. Okay? 3 times 1 is, stands for the L. 3 times 1 is 3. Now if you notice back up here, I identify the O and the I and put a box around that. Because these are always going to be your like terms. So to simplify this polynomial, we're going to bring down our 2A squared. Plus, we're going to add our 1A, there's only a 1 in front of this. 1A plus 6A, which is 7A. And then we're going to bring down the plus 3. And that is using FOIL. Okay, so remember, first, outside, inside, last. First, outside, inside, last. So get in the habit of using those arrows and remembering that pattern for that. Now, this same exact problem or multiplication of these 2 binomials I'm going to show you using the table method. Okay, so over here, I'm going to use the other method, which we call the table method. Here we used FOIL. Okay? Here we're going to use the table method. And we're going to use the same exact 2 binomials. We're going to multiply A plus 3 times 2A plus 1. Okay, what we're going to do is it almost looks, well, it looks like a table, obviously. But it's going to be, because I'm multiplying a 2 by 2, or a binomial times a binomial, and it's going to be a 2 by 2 rectangular square. So what I do is I put one of the binomials, the terms of the binomials, up here. So I'm going to put the A here, and put the positive 3 here. Then over here, then I'll put these 2 terms. 2A goes here, and the 1 goes here. And how I get these terms here is I just multiply the length times the width. Or these 2 to get what this is here. So A times 2A is 2A squared. Then I go down here, these 2 to get this one. So A times 1 is 1A, or A. This times this is going to be what this is. So 3 times 2A is 6A, and 3 times 1 is 3. Now to get our final answer, I'm going to circle the top left corner, and I'm going to circle the bottom right. And this will be my highest degree monomial, and this will be my lowest. So I bring down my 2A squared. I bring down my positive 3. And then what I'm going to do with these 2 terms, these diagonal of these 2 terms are always my like terms. So I bring down my plus A plus 6A, and notice those are my like terms. So 2A squared, 1A plus 6A is 7A plus 3. And notice that no matter which way I've done this problem, using FOIL or using the table, I get the same exact answer for my polynomial. Remember, top left, highest degree, bottom right, lowest degree. These are my diagonals, my like terms. So if you want to go ahead and add them right now, 6a plus 1a is 7a, and not do this part and go right here, that's fine. Okay? So this is multiplying a binomial times a binomial. Okay? I'm going to show you now how to multiply a binomial times a trinomial, but I'm only going to use one method, and that is the table method. So if you feel comfortable with this one, it'll make that next one pretty easy for you. If you prefer FOIL, that's fine as well, but understand that I want you to choose a method between these two. And stay with it and stick with it. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and show how to multiply a trinomial times a binomial.